The college football experience, Florida Gators 2025 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com with our promo code TCE SGPN. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Florida Gators, Gator 2025 season preview episode. YouTube.com/the college experience. You can watch this show, stare at my stupid face for a little bit. We got slides that will cover that up though in due time. But yes, youtube.com. We're breaking down all 136 teams. Tomorrow we have a quadruple header, by the way. Just the week 0 is fastly approaching. We got to stop bullshitting. But yes, we are here to talk Florida Gator football, because I mean, Billy Napier, a lot of people counted him out last season, was able to will his way, quarterback injuries, brand new DCs, figured it out to survive to an 8-win season. So excited to talk Florida Gator football here. I am joined. Well, no, I guess I should introduce myself first. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swing at Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Sure. Good night.
All right, Gators, man. They do college football right. You're going to hear me talk about that a few times with the swamp. We got a lot of things to tackle here because I've been waiting to get this guest on the show, and I meant to get him on last year, but you know, I fucked that one up. But anyway,
it happened.
I am joined by my co-host. He is our own Sports Gambling Podcast Network's own doctor. Yes, Degen Doctor. You can find him on Twitter at the Degen Doc, and check out his podcast, the Degen Docs, on SGPN. Give it up for Sebastian, who is also a Florida alum and in the United States fucking Army. God bless you, brother. Thank you for giving me the freedom to be an idiot every single day. How you doing, brother?
Hey, look, man. First of all, cheers to you, brother. It's good to have you on the show, bring me on here. Cheers to the chat. Let's get it popping on this Saturday night. And chomp, motherfucking chomp, baby. Let's go. We were talking offline a little bit. Very excited for this. Super excited, obviously. Yeah, usually, I'm Doc, but today it's all about the Florida Gators. And if you ain't a Gator, then you Gator bait. And we're ready to run this, man. I'm excited. 2025, And when you say a lot of people, you were included in that counted Napier out, right? I heard you calling for
I bet the under last year. I bet the under. I ate shit on that. Now, if I may,
your show, brother. It's your show.
If I may, I will say I did not count on Florida State being a 2-win team.
You always count on that. Down in Gainesville, you always count on the dumpster fire up there in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had them beating Ole Miss. I took Florida on the money line that game because I just don't think Ole Miss is ever as good as the media portrays them to be. But LSU was the game I was surprised what you guys did there, right?
Yeah.
LSU.
Nussmeier, the number one guy right now, right? Everyone's saying the number one draft pick, and everyone kind of forgets Florida Gators defense that before that point was not very good made him look pretty damn pedestrian. So yeah, that LSU and I mean, I know you've talked about this, but LSU and Florida games, craziest games always. Oh man, best memory.
I love those games. Now I will say historically also, and I was building the slides and stuff because I kind of my thing is like it sounds kind of corny, but I feel like all the 136 teams I feel like are my children. So I'm building the slides, and throughout that day while I'm building the slides, I just throw up random. I have an 8 TV setup, so I just throw up random games throughout the course of their existence that are on YouTube. Right. So dude, I had the TV on today doing Florida Gator slides, diving into Florida history and stuff. And the Auburn series was always awesome too, man. And I'm kind of bummed that doesn't happen that much now, man.
Oh, I mean, what was that? 2021, 22. I mean, that just where the swamp erupts. I think it was like out of COVID because I was up in Pittsburgh and we were just kind of getting back to it, when, I think it was Damian Pierce, watching him break that tackle in that run, you just see this swamp come alive. Oh, absolutely electric. Another Auburn team that had way too much expectations coming in. So, yeah, man. I mean, LSU, I was just watching the 4th and goal. Derek Geis, he's trying to get in the end zone, that goal line stop. Like, whoo, it gets me excited. This makes me feel like football is coming back.
Dude, that series, because it's not like, it is a rivalry, but it's not like when you picture Florida, you picture like Florida State,
Georgia,
picture Tennessee, Georgia, the world's biggest cocktail party, right? Oh, those are like the 3, maybe even Miami or something that you throw, I'm like, okay. But the LSU games and the Auburn ones, but the LSU games specifically, like there was like a 10 or 15 year stretch.
Oh man.
Where like, I thought they might've been the craziest games of the year ever for the whole sport. For the whole sport, I felt like, yeah, absolutely. So awesome. Absolutely crazy stuff. So let's just start here. Did you guys really invent Gatorade? Because when I went to Nebraska and hung out, when I went to Nebraska and hung out with the good folks of Nebraska, they took it very personal that you guys stole their shit. They were like, we've been serving Gatorade. And I love it because I was hearing it from like 20-year-olds. I was like, dude, this story happened in like 54. What are you talking about? How do you know? How do you even know? You're just, what are you reciting?
What did you just call it? What is the name? It's Gatorade, right? Ain't no Cornhusker-ade, ain't no meth-ade, none of that up there in Nebraska. I don't want to hear anything. You know what I did not know is that a lot of people don't like realize it to this day. I was having a conversation with my wife, a couple months ago, and they're now running the Gatorade commercials where they're actually like, back in University of Florida, they noticed the players were tired, blah, blah, all that bullshit. And she's like, wait, Gatorade was made for the Gators? Like University? I'm like, yes, honey, like that is a thing. Like a lot of people don't realize that Gatorade is not just like a catchy name. Like, no, was to aid the University of Florida football Gators. That's what it was created for. I don't even want to. Nebraska. What are we talking about? What I mean, come on.
Dude, I had never heard that when I went there, and I ate it up because I was like, man, you serious? I was like, you guys created this. How do you know that you created it first? And then like, I'm sure this has happened probably throughout history a lot, where like maybe RC Cola created Coke first. I have no idea. Right. And then but either way, I find it hilarious, and put them on the schedule in the non-con, please. Because let's get the Gatorade Bowl going, the Gator Bowl, right? I
mean, I'd love it. If we can get them on, especially I'm being in the Midwest for a couple of years, so if I can get the Gators to come out my way, shoot, I'd take on the fake Patrick Mahomes any day. That would be pretty nice there. But we don't need to get into it with Nebraska fans. I have a feeling we might rattle some fan base.
That's true. That is true.
In this episode, we'll keep it to the ones in the SEC in the state of Florida.
So where you at? I'm going to start the slideshow right now. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Jump on over there. Where are you at with Billy Napier? Because he is 59-31. Amazing record throughout his career as a head coach. I was surprised he was able to win 8 games last year, but I'm still not convinced the guy's a great coach. No. Where are you at with coach?
Yeah, no, I don't really care about any record before coming to the University of Florida. He's 19-19 at the University of Florida, and that's not the Gator standard. That's just simply not going to do it, right? We can appreciate the, progression of what we saw last year. So, for me and probably a lot of Gators fans, this is kind of it. I think, we're going to talk about the talent that's on this roster this year. This is kind of the year to piss and get off the pot. And when I say that, it's either at the very least the college football playoff appearance. I think 9-3 does that, or an SEC championship appearance. I think that's kind of what we are expecting there. I was reading up on this. 2021 to 2023 was the first time since the 40s that the Florida Gators had 3 losing seasons in a row. I know part of that was Dan Mullen and what he left, or I should say the little bit that he left in the cupboard when he took off and kind of ran. So I can't blame him all for that. But, at this point, it's great that we had that turnaround last year. It brings hope, and we'll kind of get to that. But, in no way is his seat any less hot than it was, going into last season. In my opinion, at least, I think that's a lot of Florida Gator fans. I understand we have high expectations, but it's the University of Florida. I mean, it's not Louisiana anymore. So
8 wins. You think he should still be out?
If he go, yeah. I mean, at this point, we'll get through it, and it is a tough schedule, absolutely. But it's the SEC, so whether it is actually a tough schedule or where ESPN is going to tell us it's a tough schedule, you will find I'm not an SEC homer.
Oh, man.
I'm a Florida Gator fan. I'm a Florida Gator alum. I'm not an SEC homer. I hate all the teams in the SEC because that's how it's supposed to be. But we were told we were supposed to have the hardest schedule last season. And when you look at the schedule, I mean, it was tough, but I don't think it was that hard when you go back and look. And,
I thank you for saying that, because I actually think this year's looks harder than last year's. But at the time, had you asked me last year's, I thought it was insane.
Yeah.
But that's part of why I think it can be. I don't like I understand why they're pushing that agenda, but I don't like it. ESPN releasing the top 11 toughest schedules in their FPI, all 11 in the SEC. I can't take that serious when I see Wisconsin's schedule. And I'm no Big Ten lover. Right. I'm just saying, Wisconsin's schedule, I think you can argue it as the most challenging in college football.
Yeah, I mean, that just tells you that your scale's wrong. If you're only coming from one conference with 130 plus teams, that's just that's a little bit much. But who owns the SEC? It's ESPN. So
yeah, clear conflict of interest there. But yeah. So Coach Napier 8-5. Yeah, I mean, look, it's what I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna say they beat the teams they had, beating LSU and Ole Miss were great fucking wins, especially when if you had told me that preseason that they weren't going to have their starting quarterback. Well, jokingly, yeah. I might have said that might have been a blessing in disguise, but those are huge wins, I think. But Florida State, Kentucky, UCF, not nearly as good as we thought they were going to be.
No,
so
not at all. Yeah, they saved his season. They saved his job. Those are wins that turned it around to save his job. Because I'll be honest, at that point, I just talked about the losing records, first time in Florida history since the 40s. As a fan, going into really the Tennessee game and how things were going with Graham Mertz, it was rough. There was no hope. It looked like we're closing down. We're moving on from another coach. And, it's just been kind of a very frustrating stretch, and we can't get back to where we want to be, which is, competing for SEC championships and ultimately national championships. But obviously DJ Lagway, who we'll talk about, things change when you have the guy, and you do have to credit Billy Napier for, that was his quarterback. That was really his first recruit, that big 5-star that was coming in. And so now, yeah, I'm coming in a lot more optimistic, but the expectations are still there. Again, like I said, I think that, we're really, really pulling for college football playoff appearance. It's expanded to this point. There's 12 teams. You're going to get the benefit of the doubt with that hardest schedule. So I think 9 wins does it for sure. 8, probably not, maybe considered. We'll see how the rest of the field does. But I think if you get 9 wins, you are punching your ticket to the big dance there. And that's the expectation going into the season.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Florida had not had a losing season since from 1979 all the way up until really the Muschamp era, like till 2013.
Yep.
And so in the last 11 seasons, cover years, man, they have had 6 losing seasons. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3. I wrote this down somewhere. 4, 5. No, 5 in the last 11 seasons. But hey, Napier may be the guy to get it back on track where it deserves to be. You are, you host a podcast. Your Twitter page is fantastic. You always stay up to date with injury news because you obviously.
I know where this is going.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The elephant in the room, I think, for everybody right now is DJ Lagway.
Right.
I'll get to the offensive numbers here in a second, but this is a guy that obviously has raw skills that if you watch, I don't care who you are, this is how you know, like there's certain things that you see on a football field. Now, maybe it's not all the way polished, like right. Anthony Richardson to a certain extent, where you saw Anthony Richardson's potential. Lagway obviously played a little bit before he thought he was going to play this past season.
Right.
But man, there were certain moments where you say, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What do you make of the injury news and, and everything?
Yeah. Let's get the elephant out. Let's kill the Crimson Tide here while we're at it. So he's fine. As of today, he was throwing in fall practice for the first time, so there was a shoulder thing. That college football, talk injuries, NFL, college football is always fun because it's like this massive puzzle piece where you got to get small different reports and you don't get a lot. And now with the, injury reports this season, you're getting more, but in the off season, they don't have to tell you shit. So the shoulder thing was a bit concerning, but I figured that, look, if it was that bad, he would have gotten surgery right after the season, like most people would in the off season. That wasn't reported, so it was a minor shoulder thing. Now, this random, hey, he's in a boot, right? That was reported about a week ago. He was in a boot. There was things of that. He had a calf strain. From a medical perspective, the boot's an overkill, but typically a lot of athletic programs will do that. You'll see that just because they really want to try to essentially baby it. It's not really something the research shows. It's always something funny that we see. But yeah, no, he's perfectly fine. It's a 1 to 2 week typical recovery timeline for professional athletes, collegiate athletes. It happened 2 weeks ago. He's already back in practice. He's going to get ramped up. He has 4 weeks until we play actual meaningful football to now get into it with his wide receivers, get into fall camp. So from a health perspective, I think he's going to be fine. Last year, so let's talk about the Anthony Richardson comparison, because I would caution you I know that's where a lot of people are going to go. But a couple things. DJ Lagway is so many levels above Anthony Richardson as a passer. DJ Lagway is an elite passer who has mobility. Anthony Richardson was an absolute freak of nature, and he was an excellent runner who had a strong arm. As we see, throughout his kind of career now, like the dude barely has a 50% completion percentage. Like
he should have stayed in school.
Absolutely. And with Anthony Richardson, AR-15, his injury history goes back all the way to high school. Like he's never really finished a season healthy. So I know people are comparing it with that because it's just immediately where our mind goes, but that's not the case with DJ Lagway, at least not yet. Like we're not ready to jump to those conclusions because honestly, what he did coming back from the hamstring strain as quick as he did, he beat typical recovery expectations. Like I thought there was no chance he'd even comes back for LSU based on the injury when it happened. For him to come back and not only come back and lead us to victories, 4 straight victories, I think that speaks to something that if, he can play banged up. Nobody can play injured, but he can play hurt, right? And I think as a quarterback, like you're not going to get that all the time. I think that is very important. So at this point, from everything we have, especially as of today, saw video of it. He's out there throwing, he's probably not 100% quite yet, but he's got 4 weeks until we got meaningful football. So I don't think health should be a huge, detriment to him at this point in the offseason.
And so I wasn't comparing their styles of play. I was just saying like, he still didn't look polished to me last year. Like he looks like a freshman, like a good freshman, right? At times there was moments I mean, the Tulane bowl game, I know Tulane had a bunch of guys out, but he looked fantastic in that game, right?
Yeah.
But there's also games you could bring up, like the Tennessee game where, I mean, he came in, didn't play horrible, but didn't play amazing at the same time. Same with, I thought, he struggled a little bit in the Kentucky game, and then even the LSU game. I mean, I think he was like, he had his moments, like certain plays, certain drives, you go, whoa. But then the next drive, you'd be like, yeah, why is he throwing that ball? But you do see the raw skills was more my point that I was trying to make. Like, you just see skills that you're just like, man, if he can put this all together, he could be one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
Right. And that wasn't a come at for you. That was more of like a general of what I'm hearing, because everyone does typically, you see the big, quarterback back there, and you're like, oh, well, we just kind of went through this with the AR-15. That's what I'm kind of reading, and a lot of people are getting. So, not saying you were saying that, but I just want to make sure, like, I see them as two really different, like the prospect and, the potential is there. But as far as the quarterback, I do see them as kind of very separate entities there. But you're right. You talked about it. He's not perfect. Intermediate passes, 7 of his 9 interceptions came in those intermediate routes. He throws, I think, one of the best deep balls in all of college football. But he's got things to work on, and he recognized that. He talked about it media days. That intermediate passing game needs to improve. Again, 7 out of 9 of his interceptions came in that area on the field. So, like you said, I mean, he's a young kid. He's going to be a true sophomore, so it's not like he's going to be completely polished. But I am expecting better things from him this year.
Yeah, I would say the big thing, and I know the big thing to me was that at Florida State, that wasn't really a lethal environment by that point. You know what I mean? So, like,
how many people are reading in the stands?
I hate that's a book club these days, right?
Man, Florida State Seminoles, man.
Yeah, but dude, so they played at home though against LSU and Ole Miss, and then there's the Tulane bowl game. He looked great in that. I think that's still, even though there was a bunch of guys out. Like,
I don't. That's like a scrimmage, Tulane. Yeah, no, they got raided by everybody leaving. They're running about the quarterback, but yeah, go ahead.
No, so I'm just saying. My point is like one of the things, and this isn't just for DJ Lagway, for anybody in college football. I learn when you hit the road. Really, I feel like when you hit the road is when I would really say, like, okay, can you, when everything's stacked against you, can you deliver? So I'm intrigued to see how he does this year with that. Want to talk more and really dive into the offense, but before I do that, I want to let you know, folks, that the college football experience, Florida Gator style, is brought to you by, well, we are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Like I said, the SGP has a shit ton of podcasts on their platform, including the Degen Docs. So check out that. But also, we are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast, and they are back with their 32-team NFL preview series. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they'll give out one word of a 32-word phrase. Submit that phrase for a chance to win $1,000 circa future. What are you doing, folks? Jump on in, and remember, as always, to let it ride. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Yes, MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including all these summer sports. I'm betting a ton of action on CFL every day. Came through for me tonight, but the other night it didn't. So it's what else do we got? MLB, I'm throwing some money on, golf, racing. All right. Tennis a couple of weeks ago, right? WNBA. You can bet on, I saw people were betting on the color of dildos being thrown on the court. So look, there's a lot of activity out there you can find out there. And of course, college football futures. Look, MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations as well. You can easily deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. So head on over to mybookie.ag. But when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. Of course, that's mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. You probably heard me talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. Yes, essentially, these are the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a very high ROI. Think like a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. MLB Power Trends are crushing it. There's a lot of unders on batter hit props that are collectively hitting at a 70% rate. Fading players is profitable, folks. And don't forget the WNBA power trends since All-Star break, 27 and 16. All right. With a 23.36% ROI. They're absolutely cooking, folks. Nice little bankroll builder for the football season that is upon us in a few weeks here. Download the Rhythm app, check out power trends, and start betting smarter. You know damn well we will be. So get your free 7-day trial period today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right. We are back talking Gator football. Let's talk about that offense. Besides Lagway, a year ago, Russ Callaway's offense, 64th in scoring offense, 69th in passing offense, 67th in rush offense, charting at the 66th best offense. I think no matter what, even though I think the schedule could be harder this year, I just think having your quarterback, like you kind of got a crazy season last year from the quarterback perspective. So just more continuity, I think, will lead to the offense being better. But continuity is a big thing because they bring back 4 of 5 on the offensive line. I think they're being talked about as a top 5 offensive line in college football, or top 10, depending on what platform you use. I know people say, I feel like Texas A&M's is up there. Penn State's is up there.
Utah.
But yeah, exactly. Utah. So, I mean, Florida, if that is accurate, that's fantastic for Lagway, especially knowing he's already a little bit dinged up. But Hayden Hansen at the tight end spot back as well. And my favorite kicker, Trey Smack.
Great name.
That's like Blue Kane playing basketball at Georgia. It's like Trey Smack. It's fantastic for the state of Florida. What do you make of the offense? Because one of the things that was shocking to me was the fact they only went and got 2 guys in the portal on offense, and Harrison Bailey from Louisville and J. Michael Sturdivant, who I like Sturdivant's game at Cal and UCLA. He's a wideout that I'm very curious to see how he does at the SEC level, but I think there's flashes that I've seen where I've been like, whoa, he could play. Where are you at with the offense this year?
Yeah, no, I love the offense, and there's starters on this list that I'll mention that I think may be graphic worthy there. Especially a guy like Eugene Wilson, who his freshman year in 2023 absolutely exploded on the scene. Now he kind of redshirted, got injured, wasn't in for the majority of last year. So that's kind of why he went under the radar, but I'm expecting great things from him for a bounce back season there. Now this is going to sound a little bit outrageous and biased, but I'm going to try to make a case here for, I think this is one of the best wide receiver corps in the nation. I think they're getting really slept on. You talked about, Sturdivant, JMS here. I was randomly watching football because, of course, UCLA USC game last year. He made a catch. He was incredible in that game. And that was the first time I really he kind of came on my radar. I didn't even know we were targeting him. I think he's going to be a giant sleeper. I don't think people understand in the SEC how good this kid can be. You've got Eugene Wilson, who I talked about, who's an absolute stud. But, last year was kind of the year of Jeremiah Smith, and, you had Ryan Williams over there in Alabama. We have a 5-star freshman named Dallas Wilson, who I'm telling you right now, this kid has the potential to be that good. Again, of course, for me to say that, those were all world players, so we'll see. But the buzz out of camp, the way he performed in the spring game, I think you have 3 dudes who are absolute dogs and are going to make Lagway's life very easy here. And then you talk about the offensive line. You talked about it, returning 4 out of 5 starters. Look, I'm a Giants fan, so every team I look at, I start with the line play. That is the first thing I go to because that's, in 07 and 11, when we won Super Bowls, it starts with the offensive defensive line. 4 starters back. You have 3 redshirt seniors, a junior, and just 1 redshirt sophomore. So, the youngest kid has been around this program for 3 years. Jake Slaughter, All-American, he's coming back. You have Austin Barber, who's going to be an NFL draft pick at left tackle. So you got the quarterback of the offensive line, and you got the guy protecting Lagway's blind side that know what they're doing and are NFL quality players. I am extremely excited. And then I haven't even talked about the running backs, who I think are getting super slept on. Jadan Baugh, Jackson are returners there. You know, where the phrase in Florida, you'll hear run the damn ball, but spelled B-A-U-G-H. That is because of Jadan Baugh famously broke the run against LSU to seal that game for us. So we have him and Jacoby Jackson coming back there. Like, this is the most excited I've been on the offensive side since, you know, Kyle Trask, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts, Trevin Grimes, Damian Pierce, all them, right? So, you know, I think this offense really has the potential to be not one of the best in the SEC, but one of the best in the nation. And that's not even asking DJ Lagway to go be Superman. I think that he can distribute the ball to these playmakers, and I don't need him to do too much as a true sophomore. And yes, he's still got the ability to break it. So as you can tell, very high in the offense, and it starts with that offensive line being old and returning, knowing that we have NFL caliber guys. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, the receiver statement, that's the one I'll watch, because like I can't get there just off of that. But Sturdivant, I loved him at Cal a couple years ago, where I thought, man, this guy's a fucking dog.
He's a star.
But I need to see it all. Like we touched on the intermediate passing. That was a struggle for Lagway.
Right.
That to me is but I'm buying into the O-line and the run game being a real factor. If you're right and it hits, man, the offense could really, really, really be loaded, and there would be no weakness on that offense. Defensively, now I like that Ron Roberts hire a year ago. I did say that, like, this is a guy that I thought kind of got the raw deal there at Baylor, and then what he was at Auburn at one point too, right? He did a good job. 20th in scoring defense, 18th in pass defense, 45th in rush defense, charting at the 17th best defense. He's a good DC, and whoa, holy shit. Once again, I am surprised at the lack of transfer gets. I'm going to recite all these names here in a second here, but if you're watching youtube.com/the college experience, Tyreek Sapp at the DN spot, Caleb Banks at the D tackle spot. They're back. Your linebackers, two Howard and Denson back at the linebacker spots. 3 of 5 in the second, or 3 of 4 in the secondary. Devin Moore, Bryce Thornton, Jordan Castell back. And one of the things that's shocking about this team is that they just haven't hit the portal much, which that is normally an indicator that they really like their roster. They bring in a defensive lineman from UMass, another SEC foe. So nice to bring in a Sare there. What is this, by the way? What the hell is this? Harold Stubbs going from Florida State to Florida.
Well, if I'm correct, Stubbs is he's the Harold's. Oh, so that's it. Well, we have a true freshman, Drake Stubbs, who we took from Florida State. Yeah, I mean, honestly, none of these guys are probably going to see the field. So he just wanted to feel smarter, wear the better colors of the state. You know, I guess we'll let him wear the jersey. But yeah, you talked about it. I mean, last couple of years, it's really been the wide receiver core that we've gotten. You know, Ricky Pearsall out of Arizona State, Elijah Badger, DK coming from Wisconsin with Graham Mertz. You know, we have JMS, and that's, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's all we need, man. You talked about the biggest thing, Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator. He took over for Armstrong. The defense has looked as good as it's looked since when I went to school, when, 2014, 2018, we were a defensive school. I'll talk about this roster reminds me of one time in my collegiate career, which I'll get to. But when we talk about Florida has not had a good defense since 2017, 2018. And we used to be defense first. Mullen came in and just didn't give a shit about the defense. And it's been awful. And seeing what Ron Roberts has been able to do and take over for Armstrong has been absolutely excellent. It seems like they're practicing tackling again, which to me is mind numbing how many schools seem to just forego that and just kind of take pictures with Ferraris and things like that nowadays. But yeah, defensive line. I talked about the line play. It's always going to come back to this for me. You have 3 redshirt seniors that you got to come back. You already talked about 2 of them in Sapp and Banks, and then George Gums coming off the edge there. So you got your 2 edge guys, and then you got your 1 interior there. And, you got some young guys, but 3 seniors to lead your defensive line, I think is huge. And then the linebacking core, Pup Howard, Miles Graham, Aaron Childs. Pup Howard was a starter for us last year. We lost Shamar James to the NFL. But Graham and Childs, Graham is a legacy. He was a high prospect, blue chip prospect. So is Childs. They both got playing time there. For me, it's the secondary. This is the one group that, obviously I'm very high on this team right now. It's the one group that for me needs to prove it to me. The secondary and the tight ends, which, the tight ends in our offense, they're important, but they're not the star of the show. So I didn't spend a lot of time on them. But the secondary, it matters. And what I will say is I need to see it from all these guys. They're going to be led by, our quarterback one is senior Devin Moore. You've got a bunch of talent there. The depth is there. So, you talk about all those guys that are starters, but I'm not sure all those guys are going to be starters by the end of the year because you have guys like former 5-star Kermani McLean, who has, went to Colorado and kind of has that well-documented history of he's bounced around. They've talked about how much improvement he's made last year and then going into this year in the offseason, how much more committed he is. Obviously, 5-star, the potential is there. You have, redshirt sophomore Aaron Gates, who I'm shocked is in on the field 9 months after an ACL tear. He's back in fall camp. He was great for us last year, especially shoring up the run and making sure, that intermediate routes were taken care of. And then you got the true freshman Drake Stubbs. Like, you have guys that now, it's not like, hey, we need to rely on these people and that's all we have. We have real competitive backups in depth that I think is going to kind of make this unit. We're going to figure out who's going to be the top dogs. So for me, the secondary, I need to figure out which 4 or 5 guys are going to be the ones that kind of take that step. But I think we have the talent there to kind of figure that out. And thankfully, first 2 weeks, we kind of get a little bit of a preseason rolling into the year.
Yeah. And I actually have to correct myself. I'm sorry. Cause I was doing the slides today and there was a point where my son had fell off the couch. So I put the computer down and those numbers defensively, when I went back, I think I thought they were accurate. They were actually not. Those numbers defensively, I just double checked my work because I was like, I don't remember them having a top 20 defense. Yeah. But I will say this, Roberts had a great second half of the season, but no, their numbers are 43rd in scoring defense, 66th in rush defense, 83rd in pass defense, starting at 76th in total defense. But where I remember, because I was like, what the fuck when I read that? I was like 17th.
Yeah.
I was like,
first 5 games, we were dog shit. So yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, look, down the stretch, man, Roberts found something, holding LSU to 16 points, holding Ole Miss to 17 points, holding Florida State to 11 points. That was actually a lot of points for Florida State. Then holding Tulane to 8 points. I mean, they found something down the stretch. So my apologies before reciting this. I have noticed that when I make these slides, if anything happens while I'm making the slides, like if I have to do something dad related, like on the fly, like change a diaper or something, right? When I come back, that's always where I make my error. I've noticed that cause I assume that page is done.
Right.
So I go to the next one. So my apologies there for reciting the incorrect stuff there. But yeah, the defense, man, and the fact that, like I said, they hit the portal, brought in a guy from Southern Miss, a guy from Florida State in the secondary, guy from UMass on the D line, and Doman, a punter from Michigan, who has had good special teams of late. Okay, I mean, I'm shocked at they have to be, I would say, in the SEC, the team that used the portal least.
Yeah, we're taking the anti-FSU approach. You saw how it works when you just pay a bunch of mercenaries. It can work out really well, or it can be, really bad, and you have a bunch of people who aren't committed to your program, committed to your logo. So I appreciate it as someone who appreciates, the tradition and loyalty a little bit more of the old school college football. And I'm excited with the roster. I think, what that speaks to is we had a lot of young guys who were out there getting meaningful snaps and being productive to the point that you feel comfortable with them. I do think, JMS coming from UCLA is going to be a huge piece of this offense. But other than that, that was the biggest hole, was kind of filling Badger and DK slot. So I'm perfectly fine with this approach. We'll see how it pays off. But again, it just speaks how young our team was last year and kind of even is moving forward.
And I'm with you. I think I am very curious. Like I said, I'm not like the biggest Napier supporter, but I am very curious and I appreciate the way he's building it. So we'll see how it goes. Going to talk about the state of the program, go game by game on the schedule. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by Circa Millions and Circa Survivor. Yes, the world's greatest sports book. Circa Las Vegas is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest. Circa Millions, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true Degen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest, folks. Come out and hang with us. Hang with SGPN. The Sports Gambling Podcast guys will be out at Circa contest weekend. Also, the college football experience guys will be there as well, covering week 0 Farmageddon and all other 7 or 8 games for week 0. We will be doing live shows. There'll be open bars. Plus, we're even going to give you 15% off the stay at Circa with the promo code SGP15. You're welcome. The contests are open to anyone, by the way. You can sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com. Use the promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million in first place. Look, there's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best ball is the best way to play fantasy football, folks. Underdog also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times the amount of money you enter. So what are you doing? Sign up over at UnderdogFantasy.com. But when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick. Plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And last but not least, we are brought to you by Candor Spirits, right? Shout out to Candor Spirits. Have you ever had a green tea shot? Well, I mean, if you have, these are even better. But look, I'm going to crack this thing right now. These are delicious, ready to drink canned cocktails. It's fire, right? No carbs, no gluten, no sugar, low carbonation. 7.5% alcohol, baby. All right. These are American made too, and a pure panty dropper, as they say. Candor Spirits available in Nevada and Arizona, and more states coming along the way there. Get spiritual, folks. A right. Not bad, man. Green tea.
You said green tea shots, and my body went into immediate PTSD. Yeah, a couple of those have gone down, the gullet. So
there we go, folks. Nevada, Arizona, you better get. And look, I know they sent me a bunch of states that they're talking like. I think in the coming weeks they're going to be in California and Hawaii and a bunch of other stuff. So check out Candor Spirits. Back talking Florida Gator football. We'll get Candor Spirits in Florida soon enough. State of the program, man. This is one thing I love doing. I love college football. If you can't tell, I do 100,000 episodes every year. I feel like, and it's near and dear to my heart. And one of the things I love about college football is they protect its history. I have major issues with the NFL stadiums and the way I was a strong. I grew up loving the NFL. But I have grown further and further apart from it because I believe they have kind of lost touch of what makes it great. Where college football, one thing I love is the stadiums, the fan bases, the traditions, the history. I know me and you were talking about how Georgia Tech being the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and not even calling it clean old-fashioned hate rivalry. There's a war on football, right? Yeah. I feel like it is. It's right outside of our front door, man. And Florida University, to me, although I know I was on the under last year, and I apologize. All make
mistakes. It's okay.
Yes, I apologize. They do college football right. I have been to the world's biggest cocktail party. I have been. You know what, man? I actually have not been to a game at the Swamp, but I've been to the Swamp. 95 years young. This stadium is Ben Hill Griffith Stadium. And that's another conversation is the Swamp. Cause, my Raging Cajun fans out there, they say Spurrier bit our style and called it the Swamp. We've been calling it the Swamp longer, but that's another conversation for another day. 10 of 10 stadium to me. This is phenomenal.
Oh. She's so beautiful.
I mean, look at that right there. You got the fucking palm trees. You feel like right there, you're like, whoa, where are we going into right here? And then you look at the stadium. I mean, this thing, obviously they have the Tom Petty, was that third quarter?
Going into the fourth.
Yeah. Shout out, rest in peace to the great Tom Petty. But then, I mean, this is the Swamp. It's just college football done right. You know what I mean? Like everything from the passion, the pageantry, like it's all on display here. Oh, and they have a great history too. But that's what I love about college football, man, is they protect their stadiums. They build into their stadiums. If you look at this thing, I didn't put it on this slideshow. I put them on most of the slideshows we do, is when this stadium was first built, right? And they build into it. They invest into their stadiums, right, which just gives you an example of the amount of bullshit the NFL owners spew out when they're like, oh, we need a new stadium. 20 years. It's 20 years old.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, I mean, go to the Rose Bowl and tell me that stadium sucks, because that stadium's been there a long time. Go to Ben Hill Griffith Stadium. Tell me that stadium sucks. Go to LSU Tiger Stadium. Tell me that stadium sucks. You're wrong. All right. If you throw money into it, these stadiums are awesome. And I love the fact you're playing on the same field that Emmitt Smith played on, that Steve Spurrier played on, that Wilbur Marshall played on, right? Chris Collinsworth. We can go on and on and on. You've been to a bunch of games, cause I know you were at the university. Tell me about the game day experience. What makes it so great, man?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, you hit a lot of really good stuff there. Absolutely. Corporate greed is the number one biggest threat. I mean, it's the number one watch list for college football right now. It's like you said, it's right in front of our eyes. You know, the suits are just absolutely trying to ruin this sport as much as they can. But, you know, when you go into a stadium like the Swamp, first, I encourage you to go, you know, obviously on a game day, but I encourage you to go when it's just empty and you can just appreciate, like you spoke about the players, and you can just tell the history and the passion and the amount of care that goes into this place. Like, you know, there's people's jobs that revolve around getting this place ready for game day and like taking care of the field. And you can appreciate it. I mean, it's been almost 100 years. That's what makes college football amazing. Now, game day, I mean, they talk about the university like probably most places. Gainesville, Florida, for those who haven't been, there's not a whole lot going on, right? Outside of the university, you know, the population would probably be halved. And on game day, we say it triples because you have over 100,000 people, you know, flooding to Gainesville to pack this stadium here. The Swamp, it's magical. It's a beautiful place. Obviously, the Tom Petty stuff is a little bit newer, more, you know, 7 years. It's been kind of going on, which is a great kind of newer tradition they're bringing here. But just the Swamp in general, like, you know, being a student there, getting to be able to, one of the coolest parts is it's open. You know, you can run stadiums. I've ran many hungover stadiums before, watching the sun rise over Swamp. Maybe you find yourself, our bars, for those that don't know, are right across the street from the stadium. So potentially I may have found myself waking up in a stadium before. We're not going to go here or there. This is a public show. But, you know, just go. You know, this is one of the best stadiums. Obviously, I'm biased, but it's one of the environments that you need to experience.
I'll co-sign it as far as like I said, I've never been to a game, but I've been there, right? I've never been to a game, but I can co-sign it just on TV and everything in the fan base. You're a Gator. I'm not. Right. I lost money on them last year. Right. I will tell you, this place does college football right, man.
No, you got to go. It's amazing. I mean, it's a friendly, you know, the South, the Southern charm and things like that. I think it's true. A lot of our fans are very friendly. But if you talk bad about the Gators, that's where you run into issues, right? Like most people in the South, you know, as long as you're respectful, you're going to have a great time. Yeah. The Swamp is amazing. I'm very excited to be going back this year. I've walked in that stadium many times. I was thinking about it over the years. You know, I tried to not miss a football game. I do remember one year I walked in, realized how absolutely out of my mind I was, and I immediately walked out. I walked in kind of like, you know, when you're doing that pass, you're checking your stamp at the coffee shop or whatever. I slapped the rail. I looked around. I'm way too fucking drunk for this. And I walked back out. So
you went to that game.
I have a perfect attendance record. But man, my mind wasn't there some of those days. So yeah, no, the Swamp is beautiful. I highly encourage anyone to go. And man, that place just feels like there's a million people inside going absolutely nuts. Yeah, it's football. You know, to me, the Swamp is what makes football fun. It's what makes it magical. I just can't say enough about it. I love the Swamp, and I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, and I'm curious what games you're going to go to this year. We'll go to the schedule. Let me know which one. But I wish I had that discipline, because when I was like 30 Jaeger bombs deep at ECU, that's normal, but it wasn't. West Virginia, it's normal too. But there's been a couple moments where I think maybe I could have handled that a little bit better by exiting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it just one time I had the wherewithal, but I was so far gone. I literally got in. I looked around at the fucking 80,000 people that were going nuts, respectfully so, and I was like, "Ooh, man, if I stay, there's a good chance I don't make it out of this place. So I'm gonna go now." But no, Swamp's a great place, man. It's electric.
Hell yeah, man! Great fan base. Now I was going through the slideshow here, and I mean, Tebow Mania was happening. Shout out to Steve Spurrier Field, by the way. I got a chance to meet Steve Spurrier. He was at when Leach invited us up to Washington State. What was cool was when we went up there, not only did he show us around, he took us to a practice. He let us sit in on the practice, and Steve Spurrier was with them. Steve's son was on Leach's staff. So it was really cool that I got to meet Spurrier, and Drew Bledsoe was there, and a few other guys, Jason Hansen. But it was great just chopping it up with Spurrier. So my thing, man, is in the 90s, I hated Bobby Bowden and I hated Steve Spurrier, right?
Right. Okay.
But I was too young to appreciate Spurrier. I ended up as I grew older, when he was like at the Redskins and then South Carolina, like I grew to loving him because he's so hard on his quarterbacks. Like the visor will go down over his eyes and then he throws it, and then
old ball coach, maybe.
Yeah, and then you realize that he was great for the game, and you need him back in the game, and you wish you had more Steve Spurriers in the game. Yeah. So as like a 10-year-old watching him scored 79 points out on the Citadel, I was like, man, fuck this guy. But then, over the years, I feel like as you age in life, you really learn to appreciate some of these guys. Cool that they did that Steve Spurrier Field now as well. Now, right. I will say this, the Tebow fans here. And then how about this fan? How about this, Tim? Look, marry me, Timmy. I need a green card. Wow. Well,
we are in Florida. I mean, hey, it happened. But we know our guy Tebow was a virgin or somewhere. So the tale goes. Or
he was originally committed to BYU, right?
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Get yourself out to Ben Hill Griffith Stadium, though. They got great fans. Look at that introduction. You telling me you're not there? Like that shit that photo right there needs to be in the goddamn Smithsonian.
I will say, if you're gonna go to thankfully we don't have a lot of noon kicks, but if you're gonna go to a game that kicks off before 7 p.m., drink some water. It's hot as fuck. So for those that don't live in Florida too all the time, the humidity, I've been out west now a little bit of kind of the whole dry heat thing never made sense to me. Now that I've experienced, you can escape the heat out there. When you're in the swamp, it's the swamp for multiple reasons. You're going to sweat your ass off and you're not going to realize it. So do grab a water every now and then. I just have to say that because I've seen and I've experienced plenty of my buddies. I look around at halftime and they're not there. So we want you to have a safe time in the swamp. So drink a water inside of your 40 beers.
SGPN's Doc just hitting you like it's telling you exit the stadium at the right time, right?
Well, if you're only going once, don't fucking leave. I had to go to class. I had to walk by and see some of these people the next couple of years. So I made a business decision. But if it's your one time, fuck it, go all out.
There you go. Just hydrate. Just hydrate. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, hydrate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for every couple, and that's the thing, man. If you go down there, I remember like the Utah game, man. I remember Utah. I thought Utah was going to win that game. And I was funny.
That was a great game. Jeez.
I saw, who did I run into? Maybe it was the Pac-12 media days. I don't know, but somehow I was in a conversation about that with either a former player or a coach. I'm drawing a blank at the moment right now, but they were talking about. He was like, "Fuck, man, that game, that heat." Because I was cramping up every fucking other play.
It's different. Right? You can't escape it. Like people, I'm in Virginia right now, and we've got some couple hot days, and people are talking about the fucking humidity. I'm like, dude. Unless you go down to Florida, it's just different. Like humidity in a lot of the U.S., like you get it, but you don't leave it. So if you don't come in prepared, it's too late. You're done. It's, you're kind of getting it in. So that is a little bit of the home field advantage of playing the Florida teams, especially early on in the season. But, that's one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah,
I love it. Love it at night.
Look at that shit.
You can do it now. Look, of course I'm a homer. I'm biased, whatever. But like, that is one of the shots that when you think of college football, like that's what you think of right there. Like, 80,000 people going absolutely fucking berserk, putting their life on the line for their alumni, for their team, for the Florida Gators.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I do a thing called State of the Program as I was touching. Man, that shot's fire too. And get out to a game. Like I said, you don't even have to be a Florida fan. This is just a bucket list stadium. I don't care if you live in fucking Beijing, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, you want to go to some of the best football, like American football stadiums. Trust me, they're not in the National Football League. Look at that. Look at that shot.
The metal bleachers. Oh man.
I love it. I love it, dude. I hate this. I was arguing with someone recently on Twitter about, look, it's not supposed to be a goddamn movie theater. All right. Like, what are we talking about here? You're supposed to.
So you can see kind of how, like, it's not the whole stadium. You see the, visitor side is more concrete. Typically that's where a lot of the more alumni, older people will sit because it's not the metal bleacher. So you can kind of appreciate it here. But yeah, no, it's student section, everything around this side. Make some noise, be a little bit careful, but yeah, they're metal.
Yeah, I dig it. That's the way it should be. Let's go. All right. You got a problem with it? We don't need you. All right. You want your comfort, all right? You want a waiter and 10,000 bathrooms and
you shouldn't be off you should be on your feet. No one needs
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just, come on. I think we've lost sight of that shit, man. You go to SoFi Stadium, they're like,
they're too nice.
Your waiter will be around in 20 minutes, right? My waiter. The fuck are you talking about? And you have your own DJ at this level. I don't need a fucking DJ. What are we talking about here, man? Look, State of the Florida Program, though, and I'm very curious. I know you're biased here. To me, the thing I would say is you're reflecting, and you have a conference that you just allowed in Oklahoma and Texas. Right. I know I like to say it's Arklahoma now, but still they do have playoff and national championship experience. They're a top 10 winning program over the history of college football.
Right.
And like I did say at one point, Florida has what did I say? It was 5 losing seasons in the past 11 years. So I had to give it a 6 of 10.
Right.
But after this season, because if you stockpile 8-win season and then if it's another winning season, I do think this is like a turnkey program. It's fucking Florida. You know what I mean? Like, we just talked about a bunch of legends. So this could easily go from 6 to 10 in one season.
I mean, right now, right now it's lower for me. I mean, if you ask me, week 4 last year was -2. I'm probably about a 4 right now because this is it. This is why I'm talking about. It may sound crazy that I'm saying unless he gets a 9-3 college football playoff slot, I'm ready to move on. But I'm tired of it, man. This is the University of Florida. It's the Gator standard. We compete for championships. We compete for the SEC championship, for the playoff slots. Winning seasons aren't enough, right? And so now he's got his guys. He's got the best roster he's had, and I think it's a damn good roster. So I think that 6 is okay, 5 whatever. But this is such a pivotal year for Napier, for this program. We saw it. We were outside the top 50 in recruiting before the LSU and Ole Miss games. You start winning those ball games, you start getting those recruits, all of a sudden, we pop up in the top 15, top 10. Like, this is what it takes. And this is the talent you have. You have Lagway here. You have these wide receivers. Like, this needs to be the year that we knock some heads off. Unless, we gotta turn to somebody else, unfortunately. So yeah, I think that the back half of the season is great, but I think any Florida Gator fan will tell you it's not enough. I need more.
Yeah. Well, I think the big problem is you guys put the fucking Long Island Sharks on the schedule for week 1. Ron Cooper, they've been playing football for 98 seasons. Don't let the fucking Sharks swim too close to fucking Gainesville, buddy. It's funny. We, on this show's like 8 years old, and we love regionality, or we love like anything that makes sense. Like we have the JFK Bowl, SMU and Boston College, big fans of deeming that the JFK Bowl, and seeing that now that they're in the same conference, which our minds went crazy when we found out they were going to the ACC. I was like, we get the JFK Bowl all the time. This one actually fits. I know you'll say New York and Florida should never play, but with how many New Yorkers retire in Florida, especially from Long Island, it fucking fits, man. I love this game on the schedule.
Not even retire. I mean, you'd be surprised. University of Florida, at least when I went, I'm imagining it's still the case. There's so many Northeast fucking kids there. So many Jersey, Philly, Long Island. Like I can think of kids in my fraternity, in my class, that there's a fuck ton of them from there. So yeah, I mean, it's not only the parents, they're sending their kids down here too to come party in Florida. So I will say, I've never seen a shark survive in a freshwater swamp. So I think we're gonna drag that motherfucker into the swamp, and we'll see how it survives. But it is exciting to get the Sharks into the stadium there.
You're not gonna play Lagway this game, right? I see Luke in the chat who did the go check out the South Florida episode, who's now calling for South Florida to upset Florida, which we'll get to in a second. But there's no way Lagway plays this. Why play him? Why play him? Just what, a quarter?
I think exactly. I think you play a half. I think it's important because of, talking about he did miss time in the spring with the shoulder thing, as he's getting ready. I understand you're definitely, maybe it's a quarter. I mean, I can't be, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know the state of the Long Island Sharks, football program, but
they used to have, Trent Green's son started for them, I think 2 years ago.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, look, again, I'm not taking anything for granted. I think you roll them out there, see how it goes. If you pull them in the first quarter, first half, whatever, I do think obviously this is going to be, should be going through the mechanics, but I think it's important. We need, like, these 2 weeks, we're going to talk about the next game, which I think is very intriguing. I don't really want Lagway going into the USF game as his kind of first reps with these kind of new pieces on offense and things like that. So as a fan, I understand the injury risk, but I mean, it's football. You need to go play football. So I want him to be out there at least a bare minimum a quarter, if not a half. If it gets out of hand early, sure. But I do want him at least getting some reps there in this Long Island game.
Okay, there we go. Week 2, those South Florida Bulls. Go listen to our South Florida preview. They say you fuck with the Bulls, you get the horns. I will say this. I believe the last time they came in there, they were a 1-win team or a 2-win team, and they almost got
3-point game.
They almost got you guys.
31-28. Yep.
There's always potential when you put Little Brother on the schedule for that. I know that as an ECU guy, like, yeah, I feel like we've gotten the better of Carolina and NC State and Wake and Duke, in my lifetime, but by far, I would say. South Florida at Florida, Byron Brown. I was surprised Tennessee didn't call him, to tell you the truth. I'm surprised that
I'm happy they didn't. I think he's a good player. I think he's better than Aguilar. So
I do too. And I like Aguilar, but I just think Byron Brown's a better player. But your secondary will get tested here with sure. And you know what's funny is I actually kind of like the game on the schedule because you're going to be playing Heupel later. They run the same offense. So I did the South Florida show last night. I took Florida, but you see Luke in the chat. He said South Florida. He's changed his mind. All right. He says South Florida's going to win this game now. How scared are you? I mean, South Florida could be a contender in the AAC this year. What do you think?
Yeah. I've got respect for USF. I got family who went to that school. I grew up in Tampa. I went to school around there. For a couple things, this is definitely a potential for a trap game. But I love that Florida plays a lot of these regional, games. They play UCF a lot. They play USF. I love that. And I think, it matters for USF, these kids that feel like they probably got slighted, but it also matters for the Gators. There's a lot of Tampa kids on this roster. You talk about Dallas Wilson, came from Tampa Bay Tech there in Hillsborough County. I mean, what I will say is we play in a real stadium. I've been to Raymond James. I've been plenty of times, play fucking $22 for some chicken tenders and shit and off this pirate ship. If you're like these kids, they go to a real stadium. I don't think, I think it was 2022 since the last time they've been there. So most of these kids have never actually been to the Swamp or a stadium of that caliber. So yeah, look, definitely some potential there. We need the team to be sharp. I'm not going to say that, we're going to blow them out or anything like that, but I will say there are levels to this. I think with this talent on this roster and a really damn good quarterback, I understand. I like Brown there. I think he's going to do some good things. They could put up some points, but this is not a Dan Mullen team. Dan Mullen, I would be pretty concerned about this because we talk about, I think it was Samford that scored like 60 points on us or whatever the hell it was. Oh my
God, that game was hilarious.
Yeah. And so when you had a lot of those kids on the roster, and I think it was 2022 when they last played him, and that is Napier's team, but it was a lot of Dan Mullen's kids. So yeah, I think this is a different mentality. I think we come in here and it's a little bit similar to the Tulane, bowl, whatever it was. And I think we can beat them by a couple touchdowns, but absolutely potential for a trap game before LSU. So we need to take it seriously, but there's no way in hell I'm picking an NFL rented team to come up to the Swamp and do a damn thing. So
are you at all worried that they open with Boise? You guys open with fucking Long Island. Like right. Oh shit. Like they play a real opponent. Yeah.
I hope they beat Boise and they're riding high on their damn horse and they come in here and get their ass kicked. But yeah, no, you're talking about, levels of competition. Absolutely. I just think the talent level across the board, like, again, I'm going to keep saying it. I think this is the most talented team that I've seen roster wise since 2015 with Will Grier. And
oh man, Luke's coming for you in the chat. You guys are going to have to settle.
Wait, hold on. Okay. Coach, you can say whatever.
He says better coach, better QB, better secondary.
All right, let me get this guy's let's just make sure his account is still active after this game, and we'll handle that the way we need to handle little brother.
There we go.
Look, I'm a Tampa guy. I got a lot of family there. I do, I got respect for the Bulls, but I've been to a lot of their games. It's just not the same, man. You can't play an NFL stadium, be rented, and I got my grad degree at Pittsburgh. I think the same thing. It's something different about.
That's the most tragic one, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah. And honestly, I think Pitt has it easier than these kids because at least it's in the city. These kids are having to come and, it's hard to get where they are to the stadium there from where their campus is. So, I think I heard him talking about, they got to make a trip or whatever this is, but there's levels. We'll get it right.
Well, week 3, there are also levels to going to Tiger Stadium, even though Brian Kelly and his family. Look, Tiger Stadium. If you haven't been to this too, man, you guys got to go. It's I've been there a few times and it is everything that is right with college football as well. I'll take LSU here, but these games are fucking insane. So I never feel, I never feel fully confident in saying, hey, just because LSU's at home, I'll take this. I think I'll take them at this spot. When we get here, if LSU, it depends. Obviously, you projecting the whole season,
right?
You might learn something along the way or see something and say, yeah, I don't like this team, but I'll take LSU just because it's Tiger Stadium. But this game's awesome. This should be protected at all costs. It seems like you're on LSU, huh?
I'm gonna be a little bit. The first thing we talked about.
This is his first road game.
These games are fucking insane. I love these games. Like if you wanna get yourself jacked up for football, just go watch a couple of these games. From the 2000s on. You're just gonna see some absolutely electric stuff. I will say we beat them last year, 27-16. Now it was at our place, right? So I think home field advantage matters in college football. So, I'm okay giving this one to LSU, but I like our chances here. Don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of being a realist as I go through the schedule. I'm not someone who's going to project us to go 12-0, really any year. So I think this is one of the hardest places to play in college football. It's going to be a fucking awesome game. So if you're going to the game, congratulations to you. It's going to be great. I'll take LSU here. We'll be 2-1. Going into a much less hectic home environment, if you say.
We're on the same page here. So I have them 2-1 now. Okay. Love the old Miami logo. They need to go back to it. But I did the Miami preview, and we were curious what the fan situation will be at filthy Hard Rock Stadium. I still can't believe they got rid of the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Much in Pitt's vein, Like the two worst things that ever happened in football. I think
this is worse because this is
this is the best. I think maybe the best stadium ever. I think I feel pretty confident by saying they had maybe the best stadium ever.
Yeah,
and they pissed it away for this helicopter pad. Yep. Now, what do you think the fan turnout will really be though? Because Miami fans,
they'll show up. This is one of those. They'll show up. This is they'll have the crowd a little bit. It'll probably be 60-40, 70-30. This is one. They're front runners. I don't know what the record's going to be when they get their ass kicked by Notre Dame. I don't remember their next two games. But they'll show up. It's a regional thing. It's a state thing. They'll have fans there. I would hope we get at least 40%, but it might be 30. It just depends on how they're looking, how we're looking there. But yeah, no, this is it. This is where, at LSU is tough for anybody in college football. That's tough. But this is the game that I need to see it. I mean, we got embarrassed by Miami last year, 41-17 at our place. Now, Cam Ward was a huge difference maker. The quarterback is the biggest thing. When we talk about these rivals we're going to talk about, it's the transition from quarterbacks that I'm going to focus on. Carson Beck, the last time we saw him throw a pass, he tore his UCL. Like, you want to talk about health from a quarterback? I know everyone's, making fun of Lagway because it's fun and we don't have anything to really watch. So we're just like, fuck it, let's get too deep into these stories. He had a Tommy John surgery. I mean, I did see him finally throwing some passes, but I'm still worrying about the velocity there. This is an injury that for pitchers, typically that's what we'll see with this injury. 12 to 18 months is the recovery timeline. We're only really talking 7-8 months. So, yes, can he throw a football? Yes. But can he have the velocity that he's used to having on it and the stress on that ligament? That is a question that I have some concerns about. And the last time he played the Florida Gators, he threw 3 interceptions and went 25 for 40 with Georgia. So I don't think Carson Beck's a good quarterback healthy. And now I got questions about if he's healthy or not. So go ahead.
The receiving core, their top 3 receivers from last year, 2 of them are in the NFL. The third one's at Alabama. So that is a very I previewed Miami, and on this on that episode, I said I had Notre Dame beating Miami. Right. And I had Miami beating Florida. I do think, and I stated this, it could be the opposite, where they beat Notre Dame and lose to Florida. And another thing is, we talked about best offensive lines in the country and Florida being up there. When I was at ACC Media Days, Mario Cristobal stated that he thinks they're the best offensive line in the country.
They got a good O-line. They do have a good O-line. Their run game. I think they lose both games. Obviously, there's a little bit of bias there, but I don't think Carson Beck is that good. I think that he was protected with, not only the best offensive line, the best tight end room, really good wide receivers, and one of the best defenses. That defense was dog shit last year.
I like the hire, though. I do like the hire of Heatherman from JMU/Minnesota.
Right, but their secondary coach they took from us and Will Harris. And they want to say all these great things, but this was the same secondary that he was coaching that got drilled by Miami last year in week 1 when Cam Ward was throwing all over them. So, I think their defense, I think that's a lot to flip around. I think the quarterback is a clear downgrade, and I think the wide receiver core. So, yeah, they'll be able to move the ball, the running game, and I think they can lean on that a little bit. But no, I got us smacking Miami. I think revenge is on the mind. I think we got the better quarterback, we got the better overall roster, and they're front runners. So if they do not get Notre Dame, the fans will be there. But, if they come into this undefeated, I'm a little bit more worried because they're probably going to be closer to that 70-30. But I think if they come in and, they get their ass kicked by Notre Dame, like I'm thinking, I could see this being a 50-50 split. And then, it's anybody's ball game from there.
I'm fascinated by the line of scrimmage in this game, offensively and defensively. Both teams have good defensive lines too. Which offensive line will hold up better? Right. I will say, as much as I'm not a huge Carson Beck guy, but he's more proven to me than Lagway has been this point, and I think experience does matter. But there's also Mario Cristobal. Look, I said I wasn't high on Billy Napier. Go back 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was. You can find record of me because it's like a trendy thing now,
right?
Where they say I don't trust. I've been saying this shit since we started this podcast, right?
That is it's the worst loss I've ever. I mean, again. Younger, haven't seen all of college football, but that loss to Georgia Tech is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, dude, the Syracuse game last year, he kicked the field goal down 7 with 4 minutes left. where it's like that one wasn't as bad as Georgia Tech, but I'm saying like he's still. I don't know that he's fully learned that. Like, dude, his in-game management is atrocious. Like I think it's the worst in college football out of 136 coaches. Right? I really believe that. Right?
There's not many coaches that I would rather have Billy Napier in-game coaching. I mean, I'm realist in that aspect. He's not good at it, but absolutely he's better than Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, but if I'm being honest, but I don't feel confident with this. I really don't. I took Miami on the show. I thought they're at home, and I thought they had a more experienced quarterback. And that was my logic. I don't. It's like 51% to 49, honestly. Like because I think Miami. I locked up the under. I've already bet the under on Miami 9.5 wins. I think it's one of the best bets you can do.
Yeah, I don't think they're that good. I think Cam Ward was that good, and I don't think I think Carson Beck. He played at Georgia, man. I mean, you and I could throw touchdown passes for Georgia. Like, I think there's differences there, and the O-line we can talk about being similar, but the outside of the O-line and getting he got bailed out by his defense so much.
Dude, he got bailed out by the referees, dude. Like the Virginia Tech Hail Mary.
Oh well, that's a Miami. Yeah, that is a completely that's
the cow thing. They don't call the targeting, which I'm okay.
Oh
I celebrate anytime there's not a targeting call, but the illegal blocking downfield on the game-winning touchdown, where the guy's like 10 to 15 yards down the field, and they just let it go. And then the Louisville game, there's a questionable fumble. I mean, there's
Virginia Tech. I think you mentioned it. The Hail Mary that was a catch, and then it wasn't a catch after 10 minutes of what the. I don't. Those long reviews don't make any sense to me. You've already seen everything, man. Just make a fucking call. Like it makes me
feel like. How do you change it? How do you change it? Like to me, like I have no problem. That was a tough play to officiate, but you have to stick to what you called, in my opinion. Like you just had to say, okay, that's what it is.
Irrefutable evidence did not exist. There's no way. Yeah, whatever. But no, Miami, their magic will end. I'm not high on Miami this year, and I think obviously I think we get it done in the Gardens there.
I could see it. So with me, I'm saying 2-2, but I could see 3-1. I could see 3-1. You're at 3-1. Then you got a bye week. Shout out to the great Emmitt Smith right there, Florida Gator. One of the best. I mean, Florida for a minute there was just Neil Anderson, Emmitt Smith, Eric Rett. They were just putting great fucking running backs into the league. They come out of it, and the Texas Longhorns are here. Man, please, I'll be the biggest Florida fan in the outside of you. I think I'll be the biggest Florida fan in the country here. This is the week before the Red River Shootout, which I think is a great spot for Florida.
Great spot.
But I had them losing the Red River Shootout to Oklahoma, so I took Texas to win this game. But God, I love the spot, and I think it's possible because I think Texas, dude, no one has covered how many backup quarterbacks Texas has played in 2 years besides myself. It's fascinating to me that it's like, man, I get it. They got guys. They've always had guys, but they got even more guys right now since you can legally pay.
Right. They're buying everybody, man.
Yes.
They're buying everybody.
Phenomenal talent, but I also think they're a little bit propped up by how many backup quarterbacks in this 2-year stretch they have played.
Right.
So I do think this is 100% a losable game.
Yeah.
To me, if Lagway delivers, if we watch week 2 and week 3, and if he is just taking his game to that next level where he doesn't even have to be the best quarterback in America, but just the next level, right? The next step in the progression. I think they could win. I think they're going to win this game, but I just need, with the unknown a little bit, I took Texas.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right play. So, when we're going through this, I have a floor for this team. I have a ceiling for this team, which I think, can be 12-0. But I'm going to give my, where do I see it, most times realistic take. Arch Manning in the swamp, that's going to be a big question. I think week 1, we're going to know when he goes up to Ohio State there and sees how he does in that environment, right? Because you have someone who's arguably more unproven. Really, I don't think. I mean, we started one game. Maybe
it was like at home against Mississippi State or something. It was like,
right. Yeah, I think we got one start, but that doesn't really count. So yes, I just think that Texas is an extremely talented team. I mean, I don't like them. I don't like to say it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But I do see, in what I'm going to be giving out, I see 2 losses on the schedule. This is the second loss. I just think Texas's talent, top to bottom, I think they're probably, you could argue, the most talented team in the league. So I'm gonna give this a loss, but I will say there's the magic of the swamp, and we'll see how he acts up in Ohio State. In Columbus, if he handles himself, whatever, we'll see. If he's rattled, get ready for Gainesville, baby. So this is one that absolutely I could see it getting it done. But if I'm being a realist, I'm gonna give it to Texas. I do think they have a super talented roster. I think it's gonna be tough, but I do think it's gonna be a close game. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm gonna be fucking cheering for anything in that ugly ass orange. But realistically, going through the schedule, I'm gonna give it to Texas. So we're sitting at 3-2.
And I'm at 2-3, right?
Yeah, because you
2-3.
took Miami. Yeah, you took Miami. So,
well, here's the question I want to ask you here. I think this game is the most important game on the whole entire schedule, personally, because if the season goes the way I have it going, which I don't think is that far fetched, by the way, I think they'll be dogs at LSU.
Right.
I think they'll probably be a 1 to 2 point dog. I'm curious. Right now, that line's probably out at Miami.
I can go try to find it.
I would assume it's going to be right there, though. Even if they were favored, it would be very, very short.
Oh, yeah. Right? I bet Miami's favored, at least at this point.
Yeah, now. I would assume that, too. So I don't think I'm saying anything shocking. But if they lose this would be 3 straight losses if that did happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in us beating Miami. So for me, the realm of possibility, that's not high on the realm of possibility. I get it. This is a tough stretch. I mean, this is why everyone's saying we got one of the hardest schedules.
I do think it is. I do think like this in Wisconsin are to me.
Yeah, we're catching 3.5 over at DK right now in Miami. So
see, I think this is a more winnable game to me than this game.
I just viewed. Here we go. Yeah, so this is where we'll disagree then. Yeah.
Okay, like I'm pretty sold on A&M. I think Mike Elko is a really good coach. I think last year, I understand like some say it was disappointing. I don't think it was disappointing. I just think it was A&M, right? That's what they do. But I believe along the way, I was shocked with how bad the defense was from an Elko team. I'm a big Elko. I've followed Elko since he was at fucking Bowling Green, right? He went to Bowling Green, then Wake, then
he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He did great at Duke. Yeah, he's a good coach.
Well, I am convinced that defense will be solid, and I do think they have one of the better offensive lines. I think they're a top 5 offensive line in the country. Last year, a couple of their running backs were dinged up. They're healthy again. Marcel Reed was a freshman, much like Lagway, that I think with more development in Colin Klein's offense, which I actually think is the perfect, not to go to the NFL, but to be really good in college football. He's going to run this. He's going to run that Bill Snyder shit where you're running the QB power.
Yep.
And behind that offensive line with the running backs, I am pretty bullish on A&M being a lot better this year. So I think to me, the Texas game is much more winnable than this one, even though I know A&M's got a history of choking.
Yeah. That's where we disagree. They call them snake oil salesmen in Texas. And when's the last time Texas A&M has actually came through on any of their promises is what I'll say. When Jimbo was there, it was just as great coming from FSU and going and screwing the pooch over there. So yeah, for me, this is where I see we have a better chance here. I don't think they got a good home field environment. Don't get me wrong. I have not personally been, but just knowing the game of college football, I don't think it's the Death Valley. I think this is a lot more realistic there. And they do usually have a really solid defensive line. They sent a couple, at least 2, if not 3 guys to the NFL last year on that defensive line there. I know they got a bunch of 5-stars that always come in. I just don't think they're going to be able to put it all together. Marcel Reed, absolute threat, but to me, he is one that he's a runner first, and I need to see it. So I like our front 7. I like what Ron Roberts is going to be able to kind of scheme up there and make him beat you with his arm. And I don't think he can. So, look, it's not an easy game. I'm not trying to overlook this team at all. And, there's a couple spots where, Texas, LSU, Miami, like this whole 4-game stretch.
It's the hardest in the country. That or Wisconsin's 4-game stretch with Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Iowa. That's the only thing comparable, I think.
We get a bye week before Texas, so you get a little bit of a breaking it up into bite-sized two pieces, right? 2 games. I've got a little bit of different outlook on Miami and Texas A&M the most, but just like you said, I mean, I could see us winning in Death Valley. I mean, those LSU games are fucking crazy. And Texas, you have essentially a freshman quarterback.
And Miami, I mean, for me.
Right. I mean, you could really, like, those games are so 50-50 that I'm just, at this point, I think we're going to be 4-2. I think picking the game individually is a lot tougher. Just because of, all these different factors we're talking about here. But, because I gave LSU and Texas, I'm going to say we win at Texas A&M and be 4-2 here at this spot.
But hear me out. Will you be dogs in all 4 of those games? I think you will.
Definitely at LSU. Absolutely. Miami, I think it depends on the start. If they, do you know who they have after Notre Dame? They play
South Florida. Right before that game is South Florida.
Okay.
They have like Bethune-Cookman, I think, and then South Florida.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, we probably will be, but I'm okay being a dog at Miami, especially if they lose to Notre Dame, because I think that's going to take some of the stadium out of it. Texas, again, depends what they do with Ohio State, right? I mean, if they're start the season off with a loss, potentially, but we're probably going to be dogs there. And then at A&M. I mean, there's a chance we could be. But again,
let me ask you then, though, would Napier, if they lost this game and it went the way I said, well, they would lose 4 games there in a row, would he be fired?
I would push for it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think again, we're at the point in his tenure where if you don't win a single one, okay, whoop-de fucking do. They're hard games. It's college football. You're playing in the SEC. If you don't win a single game, you're done. In my opinion. Again, there was a time last year where I thought, after the Tennessee game and how we were looking, and Scott Strickland, everyone was calling for his head, and he doubled down and said, this is our guy. And it worked wonders, and we look good ever since then. But if he loses all 4, I think he's done. You have to be.
To me, the Miami one's the one that I think is most winnable. Maybe it's just because I'm pretty bullish on, like, I just think Elko will correct what is wrong.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what school he's at. I think he's too good of a coach for me to sit there and say, hey, this defense was fucking horrible last year.
Right.
He's going to correct what's wrong. And that's why I'm bullish on A&M this year.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think I can say pretty confidently he's a better football coach, but I'm not going to say that Texas A&M is going to have a better offense than we're going to have. And I think that we can put up more points than they can. And, they're going to have a good defense. I think we're going to have a good defense, but I don't think they have the weapons. I like Moss, their running back. He's obviously one of the better running backs in the college football. But I don't think Reed as a passer is going to be as,
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Lagway. So that's where I'm taking it. But like I said, I just think they get to this point 4-2. Whether, I think we definitely get is Miami. Whether we get Texas or LSU instead of A&M, I think that's more of a toss-up.
Yeah, I could see, like, because me giving him 4 straight losses, I'm like, is that likely? Probably not. It's probably 3-3 if I had to bet. But
for my fucking mental and physical health, I fucking hope not. So
yeah. That stretch is fucking insane, though, man. Like,
Well, again, I just don't. My only thing is last year that was pounded and pounded. There's such a hard schedule. And then you have teams like fucking FSU and then these other teams, UCF, that just shit the bed. So, we'll see where the projections are at.
Yeah. Shout out to Shea Griffin. He's seeing eye to eye with me on A&M. After A&M, hey, there we go. Jeff Lebby in Mississippi State. There's not a coach / offense I hate more in football than Jeff Lebby and his abrupt slide bullshit.
Oh man.
I know you talked about this on social media because I have so many issues. I would love, I've been at media days and I'm waiting for the opportunity. Someone actually sent me a link on how to show up to some type of NCAA rules meeting because I want to go. I think it's in Indianapolis though. So this to me is like the most. I can't stand the guys because he did it everywhere. He did it at UCF. He did it at Ole Miss when he was with Kiffin with what's the QB that Matt Corral, right? Yeah. And then he did it at Oklahoma with Dylan Gabriel because he had Gabriel doing it at UCF.
Where he got knocked out, yeah.
All of his quarterbacks last season, the dude got. Now it was a leg injury, so it wasn't the same situation. But that should be his style of coaching, in my opinion, should be fucking illegal. Like,
yeah,
It's ridiculous. The abrupt slide where it's the most dangerous. I think by far the most dangerous play in football. I think it's what short of like the most blatant targeting. Like I remember that Pitt safety, just like
he killed
clear
somebody.
launch, clear asshole move to try to hurt somebody.
Right.
Most of the other ones I feel like I don't even have a problem with. I'm like, oh, they're playing football. The game's fast, right? Like
targeting is terrible.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible, man.
We got called for targeting by hitting somebody in the ass last year. Like this is a joke. But no, yeah. Speaking from like just thinking about it from like a medical perspective, like you are opening up the most vulnerable spot, your head, right? You're just allowing contact to come into you. Whereas, when we talk about a head first dive or anything like that to get out of bounds and protect yourself, like you are not protecting yourself. You are relying solely on the rules to protect you. That is the most vulnerable position you could be.
And you are then removing a guy. The game happens so fast. You're removing a guy from the game. You're penalizing him for essentially his lack of judgment on when the person's going to decide to.
I would love to. So I'm sure everyone in probably this chat and who sees this video, we've all been to the sports museums where you see like how much time do I have to react to a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to swing or not swing, strike or ball. That's one of the things. Like I would love for them to create a situation very similar, but with the quarterback slide. You are running, some of these guys are clocking 20 plus miles an hour. You are running full speed, especially these mobile quarterbacks where you don't know what they're going to do. To have that decision making, like that is insanely fast, how quickly you have to do that. And even if you try to get out of the way, there's not a guarantee that 225 pounds of your body is going to fully get out of the way to not hit this kid. So it is like the people that made this rule, I'm convinced, have never played tackle football.
But what kills me is the announcers. Like, look, Joel Klatt's a Colorado guy. I root for Colorado. I grew up a Colorado fan. He drove me crazy. He was on the call when Dylan Gabriel did that. TCU's guy launched into him, and I'm like, oh, okay, it looks really bad. That's another thing is it looks really bad because the guy's submitting essentially. He's
right, yeah.
It looks way worse than it's but they villainized this guy for TCU as like the worst piece of shit ever. The announcers, and I'm like, dude, he's just playing football.
Yeah. No,
he's just playing football.
They used to, and I feel like a couple years ago, they used to, because like you said, they're mostly all former players. They used to be like, yeah, well, it's part of the game and it happens and blah, blah, blah. But now it seems like there's been a very clear message, like you need to kind of vilify this, which tells me it's all coming from the top and whatever. I mean, let's be honest. It all goes back to, football is trying to be more offensive happy because points equal money. And that's kind of what it gets down to when we really think about it. But it's taking, football's a violent sport. People get hurt. It's part of the game.
Life, you get hurt. All right. You know what I mean?
I don't understand. Yeah. But we can probably talk about this for a long time.
Yeah. Sorry. We're already at an hour and a half. This is by far the longest preview we've done. This is
my bad.
No, you're good, man. I'm having fun with it, man. This is a clear-cut win for me, though.
Yeah, we don't have to spend a ton of time. They're one of the worst teams. I think they'll be a better team than last year, but you're coming to the Swamp. This is just a lot to ask for Mississippi State. I don't think they have much of a chance here. And
then they get a bye week. Shout out to Coach Spurrier. Come out of the bye week. And you have the world's biggest cocktail party. I've been to this game. I highly recommend going to this game.
Yes.
It's one of the neutrals that I actually fight for. Like this and the Red River Shootout and like Army Navy are like the three neutrals I fight for.
I could use a better venue if I'm being honest, but given the tradition, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. If you've never been as just a general football fan, dude, this is awesome. I mean, we would take buses from Gainesville, they would take buses from Athens, and, students, fuck them. I hate Georgia, but I will say like fans, like just people you run into as you're drunkenly walking around the city of Jacksonville. They're really nice. Like the Southern Charm thing is definitely a thing. This was one of those events where I was like, oh, wow. Like coming from the North in Jersey, like that Southern Charm thing's real. Like it's a really fun event that everyone has some time. When we step into the stadium, things get a little contentious, and from there it is what it is. But as an event, like you need to go to this as a college football fan. This is a a lot of fun. You take over the city of Jacksonville and you just party all morning until 3:30 kick.
Yeah. What's it like? Jacksonville Landing you go to and you just yeah. I mean, I went the night before and like it's Halloween weekend normally too.
Yep, the water's right there, and it's just a great view, and it's nice. Yeah, I wish it wasn't played at a football or an NFL stadium.
Dude, they did it in like 93 or 94 when I was like a 12-year-old watching. They did a home and home.
Yeah, it used to be home and home. Yeah, they were there.
It was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
I would be on board with that too. I would be on board with to me if Army Navy. I think you should just rotate. Like Army Navy is one that I still think, man, it would be pretty cool to see a game at Mikey Stadium, Army Navy. It'd be pretty cool. Like every once in a while, sprinkle that shit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I'm not going to really make a case for any. I think the Red River shootout rivalry, that one being at the Texas State Fair is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so that's number one. Don't change to me.
Right. At least that one, again, I love this game. Been to it plenty of times. I could use a home and home here, and I think it'd be good. Or a non, NFL stadium venue, just build something for it. And then Army Navy, same thing. We don't need to play in the link and fucking. I think they're playing Commander's Field or whatever. And we don't need to do that.
Army Navy, they're pushing for week 0. You're an Army guy. I think that's the worst fucking thing. I want to vomit when I keep hearing these experts say, move Army Navy to week 0. Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like this shit has been playing for 150 years, right? And you just think, oh, this is an easy thing. Move it to week 0. Oh my God.
So here's the only thing I will say. So you mentioned it, obviously went to Florida, then went to Pitt, and now I'm in the Army. So the one thing being a nerd, you can tell your kids is, you get multiple schools that you've been to, you get to root for. The Army situation where they were potentially going to have to play
twice.
They play the conference championship potentially against Navy, and then play Navy again. And then if they made the playoff, because if they beat Notre Dame, which I understand, I thought maybe we had a shot. Obviously,
I did too.
I lost my shit on that. But we would then have to play the college football playoff the next week. That would be the only thing because of the format.
I got the solution.
Yeah, give it to me because
if you move it, you don't move it to week 0. You move it to Thanksgiving.
Last game. Yeah.
It wasn't always in December. You can go back. It was in late November for a lot of its history.
Yeah. That's
the
best solution then. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the AAC weekend would be the AAC championship will be first week of December. So that to me, but week 0, no. Dude, I hear that and I'm telling you, I 32 belly option split want to tackle that motherfucker that tweets that. You know what I mean? Like
they're going to call it the fucking, I don't know, the fucking Starbucks Coca-Cola bowl and just they're going to change the name. They're going to put it in a fucking, we're going to come out in those hamster bubble suits. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Come on, we can't do that. You gotta have some sense of pride. Don't change the fucking Army name. And if you're gonna do it, last week is acceptable, but week 0 is a fucking punch in the mouth to anyone who's involved in that game.
100%. Shout out to ES giving us $5 saying go Gators. Thanks for all the previews. Let's get to this game. Kirby's is he 7-1 against Florida?
We don't need to talk about that. Why don't you talk about that? We're having a good time, man.
I'll tell you this. Lagway, though, against a Kirby defense, I can't do it, dude. I'm sorry. I can't. He's got to prove it to me. I can't just go off last season.
Okay, so we were leading 10-3 going into the second quarter before Lagway's hamstring injury. We, our roster last season, it was good, but I don't think it's the level that it is this season. Meanwhile, you look at Georgia, I don't think that Gunnar Stockton kid has shown me a damn thing. So we talk about question marks with the quarterback. I think the much bigger question mark is Gunnar Stockton.
That's fair. But they always have stiffs that I feel like JT Daniels was undefeated as a starter at Georgia. You know what I mean? To me,
that kid. Yeah. Oh my God.
I just trust Kirby Smart's defense though.
Right. But again, I don't think I've talked about it. I'm very high on our offense. Very high on our offense, right? You lose, you got to reload every single year. And we talked about it, what would happen with Saban as NIL comes, and you're starting to see it with the Texas A&Ms, who's like, Georgia doesn't have the most money out there. They're starting to lose these 5
That is true.
stars.
That is true.
Like, so when we think about, we don't know most of these Georgia guys' names. You know, I know CJ Allen and a couple of these guys there, but you know, it gets a little bit harder to fucking reload every 2 years when you're not pulling in a 5-star at every position. So I think we're going to start to see a little bit of that. And I know the kid was young, but I think Gunnar Stockton was pretty freaking awful. I think he was a gamer. I think when he came in against Texas and they didn't know what to expect, it was harder to game plan. But we saw it in the playoff game against Notre Dame. I don't think he did a damn thing that scared me. I mean, you want to talk like Stetson Bennett, in my mind, is a lot fucking scarier than this dude. So,
well, not Stetson Bennett the first year. The second year is when like he turned a corner. Stetson Bennett the first year, I was sitting there saying, I was picking Georgia to lose like every week. I was like, how the hell do they keep winning these games? He's throwing for like $110. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're going to be at like, I don't think we can just fall back on they're going to be so dominant, because we're starting to get into that NIL. The same thing we're talking about. People are talking about Alabama. I think the disparity is starting to come down. Like, there's only so long you can have a chokehold on college football, right? Don't get me wrong, Kirby Smart. I'd be an idiot to say he's not one of the best coaches in college football. I hate his guts. I hate the dogs. I hate anything in red and black the entire week. But
yes,
I'm not a fool, all right? But I will tell you, this Georgia team, in my opinion, was a much better team last year. And we were up 10-3, and we had that game. And even when Lagway got hurt and we had to bring in the fucking kid from Yale, Warner, who hadn't even taken a snap at Yale, he had us win a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Like, we were right there, and I don't think we had the roster, and we didn't have a healthy DJ Lagway. So this in the Miami game, I am very confident we get it done.
Wow, I feel way better about the Miami game than this one, dude. Like, to me, you got a inexperienced quarterback against maybe the best defensive mind in the sport. I can't get there. I can't get there, man.
Hey, you made a mistake last year. I'm on here trying to help you out this year. If you don't want to take it, you don't take it. It's okay. But no, I feel good. We're 6-2 going into Kentucky.
All right. Next up, we got heading into Kentucky. Stoops, seems like it might be the final hurrah. I did the Kentucky preview. I took the Gators, although I know Stoops makes this like a C-note game. I will say that I've been
with us.
Yeah, well, he makes it like within like this is the game they circle every year. I think to validate themselves as now we're a real football school now. We're gonna stick it to Florida, even though I know they don't. That like last year, I think they lost, but
but
I know that this is one that he actually, when he came in originally to Kentucky,
right.
This was one he pinpointed of like we have to get. But I'm still taking Florida here, even in Lexington.
They don't have the roster this year to really stress the system. I was looking back at a couple of years, and when we lost to him a couple of years ago in Lexington, who was the quarterback there? Oh my gosh. Athletic dude.
Wait, for Levis? Levis?
No, not Levis. No, Levis is garbage. The athletic dude.
Pre-Levis was.
Oh, it's gonna bother me. But
hold on. So pre-Levis, I know this answer too.
I feel like he were converted to a wide receiver or some shit.
I know who you're talking about. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I know exactly who you're talking about.
They don't have the dudes this year to even really think. I don't think this is going to be competitive. They're on the downswing. Like you said, I think Stoops is probably on his way out. So, again, I don't want to overlook too many games in the schedule, but I think this Mississippi State are two that we can kind of breeze by.
All right. Well, next, you got to bring back this logo, by the way. That logo is fire. Florida is at Ole Miss, dude. I think Ole Miss is a counterfeit ass team.
Yeah, I mean they have a freshman. I think he's a redshirt now, but Austin Simmons.
Now he is. Kiffin's bullish on him.
Sure, that's how he sells his. That's how he sells his cars. Yeah, I mean, I mean he could be okay. But
is he the next Florida head coach if the season goes like I'm saying?
I'm not allowing my head to go there. I mean, Kevin's one of those dudes. It's like if he's your coach, you call it passion. And you make excuses and you say, you know what? If you want to stop it, then fucking stop it. But if you're playing against him, I mean, he's a fucking asshole. So maybe I won't say too much bad things, because if I come on here next year and he is the fucking coach, then I gotta like wipe some egg off my face. But yeah, no, I think look, they had a solid team last year. A lot of, I think at least 2, if not 3 wide receivers. Their star quarterback, who's now a New York Giant, is moved on. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more. I don't think they're made a terrible team, but I think we got a better roster. I think the quarterback is better, and yeah, he might be a solid prospect. I think it's gonna be a much tougher game than Kentucky, than Mississippi State, and those like that. But if this team is where I think they're going to be 7-2 rolling in, I don't think Ole Miss is going to give them much of a huge challenge.
I'll give you one here because I'm like, man, I faded them with Miami. I'll say between Miami and between Ole Miss, you're getting one of those.
Where are you at? Because I'm at 8-2. So
yeah,
where the hell are you at?
I have that. What's that? 4-game losing streak. So I had you 3-4 at the second bye, then losing to Georgia 3-5. Now 4-5 with Kentucky, and now 5-5 with Ole Miss. And I feel like, I mean, this is a losable game, but I just don't buy into them being a legit contender like everyone does every year. I almost think they're part of the propaganda machine. They like pump them up, and I'm like, I don't trust this fucking team. That's why Kentucky is a 17 or 18 point dog, went in there and won outright last season. A bad Kentucky team.
Yeah, and they can tailgate in the Grove, but home field environments, it's not, it's not Death Valley. It's not anything crazy that I'm shaking in my boots. So,
okay, so then after that, the Vols come in.
Why don't you give your take first? Because I believe I heard something, and I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. So I want to hear your take on this game first before I give mine.
You heard something from me before? I'm taking Florida.
Okay. All right. Then we don't have to get into this.
Okay. Look, I am one that, like, I don't know, that part of, I thought the propaganda machine I thought last season was I did not trust Ole Miss being good, and I don't think Tennessee was any. Like I watched Nico all year, and I thought the guy is not a very accurate quarterback. Now I see raw skills, much like our AR-15 conversation,
right?
But I thought I was all over Ohio State. I thought Ohio State would demolish them.
Yeah.
And
that was an easy game.
I didn't think they were, honestly. I don't believe they were playoff worthy, in my opinion. Like their record says so.
If they weren't in the SEC, they wouldn't have.
That schedule was really nice last year, I thought.
Yeah. They beat. They had a. Who did they beat? They beat Georgia, or they beat or Ole Miss. They beat like 2 decent teams, but other than that, and those teams were, not that great anyway. So, I would have loved to get the revenge on Nico. A couple things here. We played him at Tennessee. We were winning. Graham Mertz tore his ACL. Lagway got thrown in there, and that kind of changed the game there. It wound up going to overtime. We wound up losing at their place. So your starting quarterback goes down in the game. Like, that is a tough kind of change of pace to get thrown into. For those that will pick Tennessee, a question for you. When is the last time Tennessee has beaten Florida at the Swamp?
Oh, I know it's been a minute. Was it? I'm curious what coach it was. Don't tell me it was Fulmer. Someone had to get it before Fulmer.
I mean, I know the year. I'm not going to be honest. I don't know the coach, but 2003.
So it was Fulmer. Okay.
2003.
Wow.
So This is the game I will be at. I just got my tickets this week. Going to take the wife to the Swamp for the first time. Going to meet up with some buddies. I will be there November 22nd to watch the Florida Gators clinch their spot in the SEC at 9-2.
Love it.
I'm telling you right now, Tennessee does not fucking win in our place. All right. There's a couple things that we hold sacred. We do not fucking lose to Tennessee in the Swamp. I don't give a fuck if it's Nico. I don't give a fuck if it's Joey Aguilar. I don't care if it's Peyton Manning coming through those damn doors. We're taking them down, and I cannot wait to be back in the Swamp for that one, because I agree with you. I don't think Tennessee was that good last year. So they lost Dylan Sampson. They lost a bunch on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think they have a shot in hell coming to the Swamp there.
Now, the only thing I would say, I mean, I'm not very high on them this year, but I will say at least it's November 22nd. So their young players will be, I mean, same with Florida, but I'm just saying like maybe Tennessee's a different team by that point. But I'm with you. I think Gators get them. I wasn't weary of that set. I will say once you brought that set up, it rung a bell in my brain from last season or the last time you went to the Swamp. Then the season finale against Saudi Arabia State.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. I
have no fucking idea what to say, dude. If you listen to the Florida State preview, I took Florida, but I have no fucking idea with Florida State. Like this is the thing that sucks about being a podcaster, you know, doing a show about college football now is like I talked to the Florida State beat reporter at ACC Media Days. Like, dude, so what do you guys think about the team? He goes, I have no fucking idea. He's like, we're starting 22 transfers. We think. He goes, I think.
They're mercenaries,
but they could be really good. I have no idea. Like, I have no fucking idea.
Look, they're the mercenary state, Saudi Arabia State, whatever the fuck they are. No loyalty up there. They just rent a bunch of motherfuckers in. So when it's going good, they front run and it looks good. We got 1 year of data, but they did have Jordan Travis, not a transfer quarterback. Then they brought in DJU, and we saw what the fuck that looked like. Now they bring in this little pipsqueak in Thomas Castellanos, 10-10 record in the AC, or 10-10 record at Boston College, 4-8 in the ACC. He's on his third team in 4 years. When they get their ass kicked by Alabama in week 1, you think he's going to be the guy to rally the locker room? Like, what are we talking about here with a bunch of dudes that don't give a shit about Florida State? They're just there for the paycheck. They're here for a year. They're going to try to boost their draft stock, and they're going to get out like we saw last year. I don't think this is a sustainable model of how you can continue year from year to build your teams. Mike Norvell is really diving into it. We'll see. But to me, I think, you know, what gives me some confidence that we're going to beat the shit out of them in the Swamp is the quarterback. I don't think he's mentally tough. I'm not going to say he's not an athlete. He's a good athlete, whatever. But, you know, he got benched at Boston College last year. What the hell are we talking about?
He does fit Gus's offense more than Bill O'Brien's, though.
Sure. Great. Yeah. I mean, Malzahn should be in a retirement home in fucking Naples right now. Florida State, like, they act like they got this huge get. Dude, the dude was getting fired anyway. We beat the shit out of him at UCF anyway. So why is Gus Malzahn all of a sudden? Look, I get it. You know, going back to Auburn, I get it. But last stop at UCF, he was fucking terrible. So he probably sold you these same dreams about KJ Jefferson. Ask him how it turned out. So, you know, I mean, I don't buy the quarterback and I don't buy the mercenary thing. And there's no way in hell we could be on a 85 game losing streak. I'm ever in my life picking Florida State over the Florida Gators.
Now I'll say this, man. If the season goes the way I have it, which I gave it to Florida here, I don't have strong confidence because I have this being potentially 2 interim head coaches.
Oh my goodness. What are you at then? Okay. So what's I
have it 7-5. And to me, I think 6-6 is more likely than 8-4.
Okay.
Just because at Ole Miss,
I'm trying to think when I bet this number must have changed by the time I probably took this, but yeah.
If you got it in June, it was probably 6.5, man.
Yes.
Because the hype train got behind this and
very heavy.
I feel like they're a very trendy pick. I feel like at least between people I was talking to at VSiN and when I was at Media Days.
SEC.
Dude, with 7.5, you got to go 8-4 with that schedule. Look, they're plus 4,000 to win the Natty. They're plus 1,800 to win the SEC. Plus 350 to make the CFP. If it's like what you're saying, plus 350 to make the CFP is pretty strong odds because the schedule is ridiculous.
Right.
From a bird's eye view, here's the schedule, and it's a fucking hard schedule. How many of these teams have won national championships in my lifetime? I feel like it's LSU, Miami, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida State. And then you add in like Ole Miss's gimmick ass offense, and then I think Elko's got A&M playing good ball. It makes for a really challenging schedule. I have it 7-5, but like I said, I think 6-6 is more likely than 8-4. The only thing that gives me hesitation is the fact you guys didn't hit the portal, which makes me think that you guys really buy into your roster being nasty.
I'm telling you, like, and you know this, and any football fan knows this. When you at least your fan base feels like you have the guy on campus, you have the dude who's going to make the difference. That's what it is with DJ Lagway. Like, ask any Florida fan how we were feeling weeks 1 through 4. And then when he came in, Kentucky beat LSU, beat Ole Miss as a freshman. In every single game, DJ Lagway has started and finished. He has won. He is 6-0. If you want to say, he got hurt against Georgia and they wound up losing 6-1, fine.
I think the knock would be he hasn't gone to a real road environment, because Florida State would have been the only one, but there was no one there at that game.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, you can say that. And the other flip side would be, well, if we haven't seen him in there, obviously you expect him to maybe falter, but you can't just say that because we haven't seen it yet. Right. So there's a little bit of the unknown. I'm not going to tell you the schedule's easy. It's not fucking easy. I don't need it to be easy. That's fine. Because the goal is not to hit your win total. The goal is to win a national championship. So look, I have them going 10-2. I can see 9-3. When I look at this team, it's a hard schedule. I'm in love with this roster. I talked about it. There's one time in my life, I felt this good about a Florida team. Now, granted, it was a little bit different. There was a lot more alcohol involved. But 2015, I was in the swamp. I was watching the Gators and Will Grier take on number 3 Ole Miss, and we beat the living daylights out of them in the swamp. And we were 5-0, and we had the dreams of the fucking national championship. And then GNC, those rat bastards, sold us out, and some stupid drug test came back, whatever it was. But I'm telling you, man, I love this roster. I think that the talent is absolutely there. I think we have the quarterback to get it done. And it starts with the line. It's one thing to be flashy with the wide receivers, the running backs, the linebackers, whatever. It's the line play for me. That's what I really think everything starts with. You've got, again, 3 redshirt seniors on the offensive line, 4 returners. You got 3 redshirt seniors on the defensive line, all returning from last year. Like, you have the leadership on front and you have the talent. We've got some of that Florida speed finally within the state. Like, I think the sky's the limit. So, yeah, I mean, look, honestly, from a betting perspective, I took it at 6.5 when it was -115 way earlier. I basically, once Florida won the national championship in basketball, and I took those winnings and just immediately, because we know what happened last time. Last time Florida won basketball. Look, I'm just saying, starting to feel like 06, 07, 08. But I would say from a betting perspective, I would probably just take playoffs if you believe them. And then, if you don't believe them, I'm not going to tell you take the under because I'm not doing that. But, I would say over than the 7.5, I would say just take to make the playoffs. Because I think if they get to 9, I think they're in. And, between the 8.
No, they're in if they're at 9.
Right. So I would just,
unless they lose to South Florida, that's the only way. Like, if they get past Long Island, if they're 2-0 and they go to 9 wins, they're in.
They're in. Yeah. So I would just say, if you're from a betting perspective, if you're in on this team, take them, CFP, I think you said it plus 350, whatever it is, as opposed to
plus
just the win
350.
total.
Yeah.
Because they just got to get to 9. You're talking about one more win there as opposed to whatever the fuck the juice is right now. So, obviously I've got them on everything, the over, the make playoff, national championship, whatever. But I realistically think we can get to 9 games with this schedule. And I think that punches our ticket. And then once you're in, it's anybody's ball game. So
there you go. Moneyline Mac is not on this episode. He was doing some family stuff. He is at 7-5 as well. So
it's okay.
I'll be honest. When I ran my first model, I said 6-6. And then I said, no, they'll get another win that I'm not seeing.
You're getting better. I mean, hey, look, last year, I'm sure this show was like 2-10 last year, and it's progress. So
what's your floor? What's your floor?
8-4.
So you're telling me if they did have that 4-game losing streak, you feel very confident about Miami. So I guess that's stupid to say. What power rank their top 5 hardest games to you?
LSU, Texas.
So 1 LSU, 2 Texas,
3. It's between Georgia and A&M, which is really close for me. I think I have to go Georgia just based on what they've been, but I almost want to say A&M. Honestly, I'll say A&M because of the road environment and with it being split there in Jacksonville. And I am lower on Georgia. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were. So I'll go LSU, Texas, A&M, Georgia, Miami, Tennessee. Miami, Ole Miss, Tennessee, every other team, and then Florida State.
Folks, give him a follow on Twitter. Sebastian, man, and he's a great fucking guy. Degen Docs, and he's bullish on these Gators, and
I'm sorry,
don't even like disagreeing with them.
But look, man, it was a fun episode. Love chopping it up with you, brother. It was good talking ball. Glad to finally get on here and talk, and I'm glad it's this year, man, because I got high hopes, and if I can think that last year's team won 8 games, and I think this is a much improved roster than last year. They told us to doubt it last year, so why not us, baby? We got Gatorade. That's all we need.
There you go. Give him a follow on Twitter at Degen Docs. Check out the Degen Docs podcast on SGPN, folks. Look, we're out of here right now, but it's 2 hours in, which we've never done for one team. So shout out to the Florida Gators. We did it to you. And look, I'm still going to honor you at the University of Florida with a nice slideshow on the way out, honoring the history of Florida football. But yes, give Sebastian a follow on Twitter at Degen Docs. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Till next time, remember, quadruple header tomorrow. This is the College Football Experience, Florida Gator style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Mailbox 1. You have 7 messages. 1.
I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. We're the obsession to be a part of that, started that. Mind over matter don't matter in the market. I've seen much smarter cats have heart attacks. Logic cause leaders need lambs to be lethargic. Match wits with the half-wit phantom. I don't need jumper cables or mic cords to analyze an analytical anthem. Between my 2 ears, an engine pumping the life force. Force field for your grip on the grievance. Still gonna feel unchallenged and bored stiff. So arrange the pieces to appear cohesive. All the hard work will go largely ignored if your hands are covered with post-its and paper cuts. You need to have your voice in the vice grip. The one who made it famous ain't the one who made it up. You don't get overtime just for working the night shift. I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. Every time I close my eyes, I'm taken to the same place, a playing field, and every contestant's got the game face. Everybody's yelling, you ought to play it safe. Make sure them shoes are tied and ankles taped. Shake the cobweb and hit the ground running. This is how cunning I can get with the footwork. You're doing it right, well, it shouldn't hurt. Flirt with greatness, still I run the famous. Nice high heels, I got mics for spikes. Trampling the home team and the turf for life. For the few fleet of foot, too fast for me. I fear none, cause I run and ignore the pair of feet by the tree that are fast asleep. In love with the game, you adore the head. I believe in achievement. My soul isn't rewarded just cause it sees a goal and moves toward it. I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. Conspiracy theories, gotta love them clearly. Nothing's more entertaining than entertaining a query. Just the words of the wise and the weary. Recognize the authors of reality and theory. Theoretically, I could have won Scribble Jam. In reality, I lost to a legend. Theoretically, I'm best friends with Uncle Sam. In reality, I've never even met him. Now, one day my potential may become reputation. Until then, I'm still a work in progress. I suggest you question what I'm saying. If anything, to become familiar with